Smash TV. More like Smash Controller, am I right? Because you might very well want to do that as you bang your head into the seemingly endless enemies you'll face. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Smash TV was an arcade game released in 1990 by Williams from Eugene Jarvis and Mark Turmel. Following up on the original design of Robotron, Smash TV is a dual-stick shooter in which the player uses the left arcade stick to move and the right stick to shoot in any direction, independently. Unlike Robotron, in which a set group of enemies are all present on each screen initially, Smash TV sends waves of enemies towards the player through 4 different doors located on each side of the screen. Super Smash TV was the home port released on the Super Nintendo in 1992, because every other SNES game needed to be prefixed with the word Super, apparently. But despite being the best home port at the time, Super Smash TV is actually inferior to the arcade version. So I'm gonna call false advertising on that one. In the then futuristic and now ancient year of 1999, a popular game show named Smash TV pits its bullet-slinging gladiators against hordes of various bad guys. In the vein of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Running Man, Smash TV wears its influences on its sleeve, like the cheesy announcer quoting RoboCop.
I'd buy that for $1.
And the bikini-clad eye candy on his sleeve, serving absolutely no purpose other than contributing to the testosterone-fueled death parade. As the player advances, they're able to pick up fabulous prizes, like a VCR. That's right. Not only did the developer think a VCR would still be a desirable prize in the year 1999, but also that the player would feel like televised mass murder was a worthwhile endeavor to earn one. Or maybe that's the joke. There are better prizes than that, of course, like a car or a vacation. But the VCR one was always funny to me, even back then. I also think it's funny that people thought in 10 years' time, humanity would have sunken so low that we would kill each other on television for a few prizes. In reality, we got Big Brother about that time. I can't really say which one is worse. You'll fight your way through 3 different themed stages, each with multiple rooms and different paths. The individual rooms start out pretty short, but grow and grow in length until you feel like each chamber is a real test of endurance. Some of them really do seem to go on forever, and if you don't enjoy the game, you probably aren't going to want to finish them. Personally, I get so engaged in trying to survive and succeed that I don't mind the long rooms, as it adds to the challenge. Along the way, power-ups will constantly drop, giving you everything from bomb-spreading guns, missile launchers, an orb that floats next to you duplicating your fire, and extra speed and even extra lives. These drops are randomized though, and can work in your favor or completely screw you over, depending on what drops and where. Maybe you get a cool gun, maybe you don't. Maybe you get 10 extra lives, and maybe you get none. So, it's all fun and games except for the fact that you are vastly outnumbered, and success relies on smart maneuvering, acquiring the power-ups, and knowing when to grab those upgrades or let them go. Players must also be able to prioritize targets and learn boss strategies. And the bosses are insane in Smash TV, with gigantic sprites and some really cool effects as you slowly take them apart piece by piece. In addition to positioning and strategy, it's important to never let your offense down, and constantly be clearing out as many enemies as you possibly can, lest you be overrun and die. And you will die. It's slightly toned down graphically, both in terms of fidelity and gore. The arcade game had fun little animations when the player stepped on a landmine and the disfigured corpse blew upwards towards the player. I don't know if Acclaim left it out of the port due to the console limitations, or because Nintendo just wasn't cool with blood and gore in their games at that point, but I would assume the latter. And to lend to that theory, there is less blood when you shoot the countless minions that attack. The voices and music are good and seem on par at least. They did add a voice clip that goes, "Dude!" when you pick up an extra life. A pointless but awesome addition. The main detractor from the SNES port is that it really hurts your left thumb to play an extended amount of time. Since you have to constantly move in every direction, it does not take long at all before my thumb felt like I had rubbed it raw. Maybe if you played enough you could develop calluses like a guitarist. I don't know. And I can't remember if that was an issue when I originally played it, but it sure was now, and I had to constantly stop and take breaks to recover. And that's it, really. Super Smash TV is a very good port of a very good arcade game. The graphics, sound, and presentation are all top-notch for the time. It's challenging, bordering on unfair, but you can overcome it with skill and practice, and if you're lucky, a second player to help you out. It may not top the arcade version, except for the addition of Dude! But it's close enough that it provides the same fun, if your thumb doesn't disintegrate under the gruff of the Super Nintendo D-pad. Later ports would adopt the dual analog controls enabled with modern controllers, and the Xbox 360 version even added online co-op to the equation. But if you don't mind playing with a gamepad, check it out. Final score, 8.5. Pros, independent movement and aiming with cool power-ups. Well done 90s action movie presentation. Cons, toned down gore and effects, thumb shredding control, and repetitive gameplay. Dude!